Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. The 2023 Boa breeding season is now wrapping up, and today I want to give you guys an update on my 2023 pairings, the status of them, the remaining females that I have that are possibly gravid, as well as I want to give you guys a quick look at a litter that I just had last night. It was a little bit unexpected. I'm super happy with this litter, so I'm going to get out my close-up lens. We'll take a quick look at the babies and I'll tell you all about that. But first, I just wanted to update you guys. As you know, I've been at it for now over 6 months breeding the Boas. First paired them up back in November, and then I've been pairing them up on and off. Basically, I paired them through around mid-January. Then I separated them, fed them, paired them back up again, and basically keep them together for about a month between taking them apart. And so it's been a really busy season, as you probably have guessed. I've been super busy lately. Had my first litters just a few weeks ago. Hopefully a lot more on the way. But as of now, I'm done with the actual pairing process. I don't have any more males and females together. Most of my pairings ended in May, actually. You know, animals by then were either obviously gravid, some cases they weren't gravid. I had a few that I just kept together a little bit longer, just, with the hopes that maybe they might become gravid. But typically I draw the line around June because I want my animals to have time apart so that I can feed them, get them ready for the next breeding season, because many of these animals that didn't breed this year will be paired up again in 2024, so late 2023 into the 2024 breeding season. Some of the males I can pair up every year if they're in good shape. Females I typically will give a year off after they've had a litter, but if they haven't bred successfully in a season, sometimes if they're in good condition, I'll pair them up again the next season, often with a different male, to see if that works and I get better results. And as you know, there's a huge amount of luck breeding Boas. We really can't guarantee anything. We can do everything right, raise the animal slowly, responsibly, have really healthy breeding stock, do everything by the book, and sometimes the animals just don't want to breed, and that's just part of breeding Boas. It's what makes this so challenging, but also so rewarding. So if you've been following the channel, you know that I had my first litters in May and had several really nice litters in May, including a litter of Pacalpa Peruvian true red tails, this is by far the earliest litter of Peruvians that I've gotten. Typically, those are born sometime later in the fall, in the summer, late August, September, even into the fall. So it was quite exciting to see these Peruvians on the ground so early. I did pair them up earlier. I had originally, when I started breeding, I wasn't pairing up until around Christmas time, and then I've been kind of pushing it back. And last fall I paired up in the middle of November, so maybe that helped, and maybe that did shift some of the births earlier. So I think that's something that's, to me, is an improvement, because it's always great to have the babies born a little earlier rather than a little later. Just gives you more time to get them established and ready to go. So I anticipate for this upcoming breeding season in the fall of 2023, I'll be pairing up earlier, early November probably. And I had, quite a few animals that are gravid, that are on the ground, or they're gravid right now, and just, waiting for them. Based on their post-ovulation sheds, I should be getting a couple more litters in June, and then, a few in July, maybe some in August. So I have somewhere around a half a dozen obviously gravid animals right now that I'm just monitoring. And then I have a handful of others that may be gravid, or they might not be. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll see an animal and it will appear gravid, and then it doesn't look gravid anymore. And sometimes they kind of go through changes as the babies are developing, and they might not be acting quite as gravid as they're getting close to the parturition, the birth of the babies. Sometimes I just was mistaken, and what I saw as earlier signs that they might be gravid, it doesn't work out to be the case. So I would say I have a few more of my pairings that I'm not real confident about. It could happen. I'd say if I was a betting man, I would say I would not bet on it. but you know, it could happen. So we'll just have to see what plays out over the next few months. And then the other thing to keep in mind, of course, just because the female is 100% gravid doesn't mean that it has nice, healthy babies. Sometimes they just slug out. They have nothing but the unfertilized ova or slugs. Sometimes they'll give birth to stillborns. You know, so these things, of course, are really heartbreaking, but it's just something you have to deal with breeding boas. So altogether, it's been a productive breeding season so far, and you know, I'm hoping for some more really nice litters in the months ahead. And so I just wanted to tell you guys now about a litter that was just born last night. It was actually a Suriname true red tail, my first Suriname litter of the season, and you know, not related to this one. I just thought I'd grab this. I think this is a 2-year-old female holdback from my Prometheus bloodline, just so you guys would have some nice eye candy to look at. But this litter was born from my other bloodline, which I call my Picasso bloodline. And this is from a holdback female from 2016. This was her first litter. And I thought, based on her due date, that she might give birth pretty soon. And I had checked on her in the afternoon and didn't notice anything. She was still, you know, acting like she was gravid, coiled up over the hot spot. And then I just came back around 10 o'clock before bed. Just thought I'd check on the, you know, gravid females one more time, and she had given birth. So I was kind of tired, and as you know, often I will film the processing of the litter where I take the female out and clean her up and check out the babies, things like that. I was just really tired, and I didn't have the energy to make one of these videos, so I just processed the litter myself, just, you know, cleaned up the female, cleaned the cage, and moved the babies to a separate enclosure. And there were 5 babies. There were something like 6 or 7 slugs, no stillborns. So a little bit of a small litter, but not unexpected given that this is a first-time mother. And the babies look really nice. So I'm really happy with them. Really good start to the Suriname season for 2023. Hopefully I'll have a couple more litters as well of Surinames on the way later this summer, so stay tuned for that. But now I thought I'd take out my close-up lens and take a quick look at the babies. Here's a litter of Surinames just born the other night, actually quite late at night, and nice litter, 5 babies. A little on the small side, but not all that small given that it was a first-time mother. There were also something like 5 or 6 slugs as well, the unfertilized embryos, which, you know, we always like to see as many babies as possible, and I guess it's tempting to think that each slug could theoretically be a baby, but that's just part of breeding. These unfertilized embryos, or ova I should say, are pretty common in boa litters, and pretty much all boa breeders are going to see these. I would say probably I see them about in 50% of my litters has at least one of these slugs. You know, sometimes I'm lucky I get a litter with none. Luckily there were no stillborns in this litter. It's always emotionally more challenging to see the stillborns than the slugs. But some really nice, beautiful baby Suriname boas. There's a close-up. You can see some of their beautiful colors and patterns. These guys are from what I call the Picasso bloodline of boas, which I've been developing here at Brian Boas. These guys are all second-generation animals born from parents born in my facility, and just really beautiful animals with these nice peak saddles and long red tails and beautiful colors. The colors are looking a little dull right now, but once they shed, they'll look a lot nicer. You can see one of them right, the head is over to the right of the frame. Looks like he or she has some goo still stuck. That's a little bit of the afterbirth that's still stuck on, so that'll come off when they shed, when this one sheds, if not before. Some really nice animals. Some of them look like they're a little bit lighter than others, although it's really hard to tell before they shed. This one right here, which we see in the frame, is potentially a standout. Looks like this one has a lot of really nice colors and this nice symmetrical peak saddles and a long red tail, although it's a little hard to tell before they shed. But they all look like they're really nice, solid Suriname true red tails, and beautiful animals to have in your collection. Here's a wide shot again. I just wanted to show you, I'm just keeping them in this simple 28-gallon Sterilite, or 14-gallon rather, Sterilite tub. Actually, I think it's a 14-gallon, not 28. It's 56 quarts. And I have a water dish there. They don't typically drink, but often they'll soak, which helps them to shed. And I just use paper towels as the substrate, wad up a few paper towels that they can hide under. And I have it on top of a simple heat mat set to maintain about 90 degrees. And they'll stay in here for about 8 or 9 days until they shed. And then at that point, I'm going to put them in their separate tubs. Typically it's more like 10 or 11 days. Sometimes I move them to the tubs just before they shed. And I'll just leave these guys with the shot of their tails here. You can see the nice long red tails that are kind of lined up for the picture, for the camera. Thought I'd get a few quick shots of the mother here. She's just been kind of resting, kind of coiled up in the corner over the heat, the hot spot, just for the last day since she gave birth. I'm not actually going to take her out. I don't want to disturb her. I'm going to feed her a rat later today, which she's definitely earned. But she had a real nice litter, and I just want to give her some time to recover, put the weight back on, and if things go smoothly, she'll probably be breeding again in another 1.5 years for the 2025 breeding season. She is one of the holdbacks from my 2016 litter from the bloodline I call my Picasso bloodline. Just a really nice animal. Although technically Picasso is her brother from I think it's her half brother from an earlier litter. But so it's kind of similar markings and colors as her more famous brother. But really nice boa. And the babies that she produced should be top notch when they reach adulthood. Actually, I messed up. Picasso is her full brother from an earlier litter, from the 2014 litter. She was born from the same parents in 2016. So that was my first Suriname True Red Tail litter of 2023. I'll keep you guys posted. Once they shed their skins, they should look really, really nice. So I'll share some pictures or video with you guys of them at that point. Also, these guys will be available eventually, so they'll be up on my Flickr site, with the link to my Flickr site of available animals is below the video description, so check that out if you're interested. Incidentally, I have animals, Surinames right now from 2022 that are still available, so if you're looking to get a Suriname, you can't wait around for this litter to be ready. I do have animals available right now. So these babies, what I'm going to do, once they shed in about 1.5 weeks, I'm going to try feeding them. Typically they feed really easily, and I don't have any issues with getting them to eat. So I'll make sure they have at least 3 or 4 meals and they're doing really well. And at that point, they will be offered up for sale on my Flickr site. So stay tuned if you want to check those out. They'll be ready in about 1.5 months. And I'll also keep you guys posted on the status of my other 2023 baby Boa litters, as well as any new births that I have here on the channel. So just stay tuned. Hopefully we should have an exciting summer of baby Boa births ahead. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, shoot me any questions or comments you might have. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your Boa. That's just my dog is excited.